Hey, stories of the Soul fam. We've got a swoon-worthy love story for you today. Let's jump in and tell us what cities are. The morning sun painted golden streaks across the empty park as Luna Hartwell hurried down the cobblestone path, carrying a worn paper bag filled with leftover bread from the bakery where she worked nights. Her sneakers, held together with duct tape, made soft squeaking sounds against the dew-covered ground. At 19, she had learned to find beauty in small moments like these, when the world felt peaceful before the chaos of another day began. Luna settled onto her favorite bench near the old oak tree and began breaking the bread into small pieces. Within minutes, a parade of stray cats emerged from their hiding spots, meowing softly as they approached. She smiled, her tired eyes lighting up as she watched the meat. "There you go, Patches," she whispered to a orange tabby with a missing ear. "And don't you dare fight with Smokey over the bigger pieces." The sound of expensive leather shoes on gravel made her look up. A tall man in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit was walking toward her, his eyes focused on his phone. He moved with the confidence of someone who owned the world, his dark hair styled flawlessly despite the early hour. Luna quickly stood to move out of his way, but her elbow knocked over the coffee cup she had balanced on the bench armrest. The lukewarm liquid splashed directly onto the man's pristine suit jacket. "Oh no, I'm so sorry." Luna gasped, grabbing napkins from her bag and reaching toward him instinctively. Daniel Blackstone stopped dead in his tracks, staring down at the coffee stains spreading across his $3,000 jacket. In his 32 years, no one had ever been clumsy enough to spill anything on him. His first instinct was anger. But when he looked up into the young woman's panicked face, something unexpected happened. Her eyes held genuine concern, not the calculated fear he usually saw. When people realized they had inconvenienced him, he was pretty in an unpolished way, with wild curls escaping from a messy ponytail and paint stains on her worn jacket. "Please let me pay for the cleaning," Luna said, digging through her pockets. "I know it looks expensive, and I don't have much right now, but I can work something out." Daniel found himself studying her more closely. Most people who recognized him either apologized profusely while trying to impress him, or demanded compensation for imagined injuries. This girl was offering to pay him. "It's fine," he said quietly, surprising himself with his calm tone. Luna blinked in confusion. "But your suit, it's ruined. That stain won't come out easily." "I have others," Daniel replied, which was true but not the point. He gestured toward the cat still eating around her feet. "What are you doing here so early?" "Feeding them," Luna said simply, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "Most of them are abandoned. People think cats can take care of themselves, but city life is harsh. They need help too." Daniel watched as a small gray kitten rubbed against Luna's leg, purring loudly. She bent down to scratch behind its ears, her whole face softening with affection. "This is Pebble," she said, lifting the kitten gently. "It was born in the storm drain over there." "Ah. Her mother disappeared when she was barely old enough to eat solid food, so you adopted her?" Daniel asked. Luna's smile faltered slightly. "I wish I could. My landlord doesn't allow pets, and I can barely afford rent as it is. But I make sure she and the others eat every day. Mrs. Rosa at the animal shelter says she'll take them when space opens up." Daniel found himself oddly moved by this stranger's dedication to creatures that most people would ignore. In his world of boardrooms and profit margins, he rarely encountered such selfless behavior. "You do this every morning?" he asked. "Every morning I can," Luna confirmed, setting Pebble down gently. "Before my first job starts at 7. Some days I'm too exhausted, but they depend on me now." Something in her voice made Daniel want to know more. "How many jobs do you have?" "3," Luna said without shame. "Bakery nights, coffee shop mornings, and I tutor kids at the community center on weekends. Trying to save enough for college." The simplicity of her dreams struck him. Here was someone fighting for basic opportunities he had never questioned having. Daniel realized he was still standing in his stained suit, having the longest conversation with a stranger he'd had in years. 3 weeks later, Daniel found himself walking through the park at dawn again, though he couldn't quite explain why. His morning run had somehow shifted its route to pass by the old oak tree, where he had first met Luna. She was there as expected, surrounded by her furry family, humming softly as she distributed breakfast. "You're back," Luna said, looking up with a smile that seemed genuinely pleased rather than calculated. "I was wondering if I'd scared you away with my coffee attack. I walk this way sometimes," Daniel said, which was becoming more true each day. He noticed she was wearing the same paint-stained jacket, but she looked happier than before. "Want to help?" Luna asked, offering him some of the bread pieces. Daniel hesitated. In his world, feeding stray animals was something other people did. But something about Luna's expectant expression made him take the bread. A bold tabby cat approached him cautiously, sniffing his expensive shoes before accepting the offering. "That's Winston," Luna said. "He's very particular about who he trusts. You should feel honored." As they fed the cats together, Daniel found himself asking questions he never thought he'd care about. How long had she been doing this? Where did she find the time? Didn't she have family to worry about instead of stray animals? Luna's expression grew quieter at the last question. "I aged out of foster care when I turned 18, she said simply. "Never got adopted. These cats understand what it's like to be forgotten." Daniel felt an unexpected pang in his chest. He had grown up with every material advantage, but had often felt just as alone in his family's cold mansion. "Foster care must have been difficult," he said carefully. "Some homes were better than others," Luna replied, scratching behind Pebble's ears. "But I learned something important. Family isn't about sharing blood or having the same last name. It's about choosing to show up for each other, even when it's hard." She gestured toward the cats gathering around them. "These guys taught me that. They could scatter and fend for themselves. But they keep coming back to this spot because they know someone cares about them here." Daniel watched her gentle hands as she tended to a cat with a healing wound on its paw. "You take care of everyone else? Who takes care of you?" Luna looked surprised by the question. "I take care of myself. I always have." "That's not the same thing," Daniel said, recognizing the loneliness behind her independence. Over the following days, their morning encounters became routine. Daniel learned that Luna tutored Tommy, an 8-year-old boy whose mother worked double shifts. She had talked the community center into letting her use their space for free by organizing donation drives. "Tommy reminds me of myself at that age," Luna explained one morning. Angry at the world, convinced nobody really wanted him around, but all he needed was someone to believe in him. Daniel found himself sharing stories he had never told anyone. How his parents had been too busy building their empire to notice their son. How he had learned to associate love with achievement and worth with net value. "Sounds lonely," Luna said simply, without pity or judgment. "I thought I preferred it that way," Daniel admitted. "Thought you don't anymore." Daniel looked around at the small community Luna had created in this corner of the park. Cats who had learned to trust, a young woman who gave freely despite having little, and somehow, himself, sitting on a bench at dawn instead of reviewing profit reports. "You've shown me something I didn't know I was missing," he said honestly. Luna smiled, and for the first time in years, Daniel felt like he was exactly where he belonged. Not because of what he owned or achieved, but simply because someone had chosen to include him in their world of quiet, persistent care. "That's what family does," Luna said softly. "Shh. It shows up and makes space for you to belong." As the sun rose higher and Luna gathered her things to leave for work, Daniel realized she had taught him the most valuable lesson of his life. True wealth was unmeasured in dollars, but in the connections that made you want to be a better person. And sometimes family found you in the most unexpected places.